Naruto's eyes fluttered open, every inch of his body in indescribable pain. He could only sense the faintest wisps of chakra circling around him, all strength in his muscles gone. It took all he had to look down at the arm that held his vermilion Rasengan. It had been torn to shreds, bone exposed to the chilling air of the mist. Blood coated his clothes. Tendrils of orange chakra floated from the liquid, the faint growls of the fox filling his head. Another cry filled his ears. He recognized the ki emanating from the streets below. He had countered the tailed beast bomb, but Yagura and the Three Tails were still fighting. He had spent all his strength. He couldn't defend, or even dodge. The air thickened as he felt the monster he was fighting begin to draw in more chakra, ready to create another tailed beast bomb. There was nothing he could do. He begged his body to move, desperately trying to defy his own fatigue, but nothing happened. For the first time in his life, he felt completely and utterly helpless. "You're not planning on dying on me, are you?" Naruto barely heard the voice through the ringing of his ears. His eyes looked to his side. It was Zabuza, his injured leg covered in a thick layer of ice to stop the bleeding. The bandages on Zabuza's face half unraveled. "You're a bigger idiot than I thought," the man grumbled. Naruto could barely create words, muttering a jumbled, "What are you doing?" The presence of the tailed beast bomb vanished, Zabuza looking down at the Mizukage. He had consumed the orb of energy, his entire body expanding. His eyes glowed, his mouth gaping open. The blast sent dust in every direction, a beam of pure power barreling towards Zabuza. The man smirked, performing a blur of hand signs. "Isn't it obvious? I'm stopping you from throwing your life away. Water style. Chakra eater." Naruto couldn't reply even if he wanted to. He said something similar to convince Haku to leave Zabuza. Perhaps it was karma for them to be used against him. The thought was blown away as Yagura's tailed beast beam collided with Zabuza's chakra eater. His feet dug into the ice, more crawling up his legs to support him. He glanced behind him, Haku running towards him and Naruto. "Naruto, you need to redirect it," Haku panted. Naruto knew that. Zabuza was down to his last jutsu. Haku had to be running low too. They couldn't continue fighting Yagura. The only chance they had was to send the Three Tails power back at him, but only he had that kind of ability, and he couldn't move. His mind faded for a split second, an orange light filling his vision. He felt the smallest rush, strength filling his muscles. Haku fell to his side, helping him to stand and place his hand on Zabuza's liquid dragon. Naruto had never understood his ability to redirect chakra. Absorption was instinctive, while release was required to keep him from exploding from the energy. He couldn't begin to fathom what the chakra of another tailed beast would feel like. It turned out that he wouldn't experience it, as the moment he placed his hand on Zabuza, he finally blacked out for good. Haku caught him, laying him down, looking up at her struggling master. "Haku, get my sword," he grunted, the chakra eater now the size of the Mizukage tower. Haku nodded, a clone running back with the executioner's blade in tow. Zabuza's own clone appeared, raising the blade high. It swung down with all its strength, dispelling immediately. The blade slashed cleanly through Chakra Eater, Zabuza forcing it forward. The combination sent the absorbed chakra hurtling back towards Yagura. The beast couldn't dodge, engulfed by an explosion. The shockwave was felt beyond the village walls. Most of the area around Yagura turned to dust. Mei, Ao, and Chodro hid behind a stone wall, which was mostly destroyed. They all looked over it at the center of the blast. "Ao, what's going on with Yagura?" Mei demanded. Ao focused chakra to the eye behind his eye patch. "The Three Tails chakra seems to be damaged. It's hard to tell if he has enough to keep fighting, but I would assume he does." "His own attack struck him," Chodro scoffed. "You would think that would knock him out." "If I were to guess, The tailed beast bomb that blonde kid cancelled out had a full tail's worth of chakra put into it. The beam was half of that at most. Then, considering Zabuza sent it back as an orb, it must have done far greater damage. Even so, none of us have the chakra reserves to fight that thing, Ao replied. Naruto was the closest among us, but I'd guess he's down for the count, Mei growled. Which only leaves us. Chojuro with me. I'll try to slow him down. You certain your swords can absorb his chakra? Chojuro tensed. It'll be tough, but I think it can. If not, I'll go down swinging. Mei smirked. That's what I like to hear from one of my future right hands. Stop! Mei paused halfway over the wall, Chojuro at her side. They both turned to Ao, whose face was grim. Both had seen him worried, but this was something else. The veins around his eye patch bulged in greater concentration. There's a man approaching Yagura. I can't see his chakra, but I know he's real. Now the chakra around Yagura appears to be fluctuating. It's a genjutsu. Ao was drowned out by a pair of ear-splitting screams. All shinobi looked towards the two origins. One was Yagura, his ki and chakra miraculously fading away. The other came from the broken Mizukage Tower. A new wave of chakra and ki filling the village. It's the blonde kid, Ao cursed under his breath. I thought he'd used up all the Nine-Tails chakra he could control. This is different, Chojuro added. Yagura's was controlled. This is not. Zabuza was pushed back out of energy. Haku tried to push against the thick aura, but to no avail. Her cries were also pointless. It wasn't Naruto she was attempting to speak to. His eyes were blood red, whiskers darkened, but the chakra coating him was slimmer, clinging to his body, forming the defined shape of a fox. What the hell are you doing? Naruto pounded on the iron bars, sending ripples through the water at his feet. The fox stood on all fours, eyes staring straight ahead. No matter what Naruto said or did, the Nine-Tails never responded. He slammed his head against the iron cage. This is my mind. You can't keep secrets from me. Shut up, you damned brat, the fox finally shouted. I'm fulfilling our deal since you're too weak. That man in front of Yagura, he has to die. Naruto felt his body jerk forward, the fox controlling his body with ease. All he could do was watch through his unconscious eyes, as his greatest fear became reality. It could be worse, the blonde told himself. At least you're not on the leaf, and that the fox is focused on whoever that man is. The Nine-Tails landed at the base of the Mizukage Tower, charging forwards at full speed. Zabuza and Haku watched from the tower, unable to stop him. Naruto watched helplessly as chakra formed at the top of the orange tail swaying behind him. The fox roared, the masked man turning his head. The man was covered in thick black robes, a hood hiding his face as well. Naruto couldn't sense anything from him, even through the fox. He raised his hands, one towards Yagura, the other towards Naruto. Ninja art. Pitch black. Ninja art. Genjutsu release. Naruto and the Nine-Tails found themselves in complete darkness. The fox unleashed a wave of energy, the illusion breaking instantly. When they could see, they found Yagura. He was on the ground, unconscious. The Three-Tails chakra had vanished, leaving the Kage covered in wounds. You served me well, but your time has come to an end, the man stated. Damn you, the fox growled, continuing his charge. Reverse summoning jutsu. The fox's chakra tail shot forward, past the man, trying to reach the fallen Yagura. Naruto felt it press against Mizukage's shoulder, before he and the strange man disappeared in smoke. The fox skidded to a halt, glaring in every direction. Yagura and the Three Tails were gone. Naruto had to cover his ears within his mind as the demon let out a cry of outrage. The sound cut off abruptly, the aura coating Naruto dispersing. Now, the fox had pushed him far beyond his limit. Naruto could do nothing as he fell unconscious. "Damn," the fox grumbled as the boy's figure fell into the water. "Now this is going to be trouble." Hidden Mist Village, 1 week later. Naruto winced as he put weight on his legs. After the battle with the Mizukage, he'd fallen asleep for 6 days. He woke that morning to pain across all his body. It felt as if his muscles were turned to ice. He looked up as Tsunade entered the temporary hospital that had been set up within the village walls. The mist was broken, but its people were worse off. Although Yagura was gone, tension hadn't to lift. From what little Naruto was told by Tsunade, it might be worse than before. "How are you feeling, kid?" the Hokage asked. "Terrible, but manageable," Naruto admitted. Tsunade caught him before his legs could cave. He sat back down, looking around the tent. "Where are Haku and Zabuza?" "Zabuza is with Mei Terumi, finalizing Mizukage business. After that, peace negotiations will begin. Both of them recognize your contribution. In addition, they are in a broken state. Much like the hidden sand was after the Kazekage's murder," Tsunade answered. Naruto barely heard her. The memories of his time controlled by the Nine-Tails were rushing back. The man in black. Yagura was gone. Thoughts swirled, forming into one. The Akatsuki have Yagura and the Three Tails, he whispered. "We'll talk about that later," Tsunade stated, putting a hand on the boy's shoulder. "For now, you need some fresh air." The blonde nodded slowly, the Hokage helping him walk out of the tent. Surrounding him were civilians and shinobi alike, crowding the small clearing near the Mizukage Tower, which was currently acting as a shelter. Medics were dashing from person to person. Orochimaru's attack on the leaf seemed small compared to the mayhem of the mist. "Naruto!" The blonde turned to the voice, a group of familiar faces running towards him. Sakura was in the lead, wearing a shorter version of her red dress, a white medical cloak over top. Behind her was Team 8, Kurenai leading her genin. "What are you doing here?" Naruto asked. "The mist is short on medics, so Lady Tsunade believed this would be a good chance to practice," Sakura grinned. "Team 8 is here to act as extra sensors to make sure enemy ninja don't try to invade." Naruto nodded slowly, looking to Shino and Hinata. "Congratulations on your victory," the Aburame stated. Naruto gave a thin smile. "Thanks, but I don't know if I would call it a victory." "Consider yourself lucky you didn't destroy this whole village," Kiba snarled. Naruto looked up at the Inuzuka. Since the death of Hiruzen and the reveal of the Nine-Tails, Kiba and most of the other genin had shunned him. Ino was the only one to apologize and make amends since then. But even after 4 months, it seemed that Kiba still held a grudge. "Watch your mouth, boy," Tsunade said sternly. "Naruto's been through enough without your barking." Kiba scoffed. "You may be Hokage, but I can hate whoever I want." "Then hate the demon, not the person who saved you from it," Hinata blurted out. Everyone was taken aback by the Hyuga's outburst. All except Naruto. He smiled. "Don't worry, Hinata, it's alright." Hinata bit her lips, face turning red. Kurenai groaned, beckoning Kiba to follow. She then ordered Shino and Hinata to head towards the opposite end of the village. "We must go monitor the south wall," Shino stated, glancing at Naruto. "When we return to the leaf, Hinata and myself will treat you to a meal." Naruto gave a thin smile, the Aburame continuing. Hinata hovered beside him for a moment, before running to join Shino. "Let's get moving," Tsunade suggested. "Haku had to be physically pulled away from you after you fell unconscious." I'm sure she'd want to see you. Sakura, please get back to work. Yes, Lady Tsunade, Sakura nodded before running off. Naruto followed Tsunade quietly, glancing around the broken village. No one looked in their direction, their focus aimed on the work and reconstruction. Naruto wasn't sure if it was him or the destroyed village that was making them so silent. It was likely both. Tsunade showed him to one of the few buildings completely intact. Inside were Zabuza, Mei, and Chojuro. I see you're awake, kid, Zabuza smirked. You did a hell of a job out there. Naruto frowned. I can't take the credit. It was only because of the Nine Tails we survived. Not only that, but Yagura was taken away. By the Akatsuki, we assume, Mei grumbled. Your Hokage explained what you know about them. Ao saw that Yagura was under Genjutsu. For how long and why, we don't know. The fox said the same thing. It spoke to you? Everyone asked in shock, eyes wide. It appears to me often. More accurately, it yells at me. It sensed the Genjutsu on Yagura. That's why I took over my body to try and reach him. I assume it was after the Three Tails, Naruto replied. Do you know why? Zabuza asked. The blonde shook his head. Usually it speaks to me while I'm unconscious, but giving me all that chakra might be affecting it, so it hasn't said anything. Zabuza groaned. Fine by me. Not to sound rude, but I'd prefer to not see that orange chakra again. Naruto nodded, glancing around the room. Where is Haku? I sent her to do reconnaissance with a small team. She needed something to get her mind off of your sorry state. They should be back soon, Mei responded. Back to our predicament, Tsunade. The Leaf and the Mist have never been on good terms, and although your tuning has helped us immensely, an alliance will put everyone on edge. I agree, Tsunade sighed. For the time, let's focus on rebuilding your village. Once the people are better off, we can make the alliance official. In the meantime, we need to make a plan regarding the Akatsuki, Chojuro chimed in. I could care less that they have Yagura, but the Three Tails is a different story. Same here, Mei continued. He might have been under Genjutsu for who knows how long, but allowing a tailed beast to escape our grasp, and into the Akatsukis no less. Whatever they have planned, they need all of them, Naruto stated, everyone turning to him. If they didn't need all the tailed beasts, then they wouldn't have targeted me in the past. They'll go after the other Jinchuriki, eventually. Tsunade nodded. Jiraiya says that's their objective, but we don't know when they're beginning their attack. What are the odds this is it? Zabuza asked. Unknown, especially since we don't know for certain that man was with the Akatsuki. Regardless, this may be a blessing in disguise, Zabuza added. With no tailed beast, we can rebuild. Then once we make that alliance, the Leaf will have our support, and us their protection. Are you sure there isn't another reason? Tsunade grinned. Zabuza couldn't help but chuckle. I take it you've noticed it too? Mei and Chojuro looked at the two confused. They turned to Naruto, only to not see him in the room anymore. Outside, Naruto ran towards the village walls. He felt sluggish, almost tripping over himself several times. He didn't know where he needed to go, just somewhere that would bring him closer. Why didn't you say I was awake? Because they don't need to know, and I don't care if you're already awake. I never went to sleep unlike you. In fact, I heard everything that Yuki girl said. You humans and your need for affection. It disgusts me. Having to watch while inside your mother and the first Hokage's wife didn't help. Will you just shut up? I can't. Or rather, you can't shut me up like you did with your meditation. You've used too much of my chakra for my mind to be caged. Yet you're still behind those iron bars, Naruto hissed. The Nine Tails chuckled. That could be easily arranged, but you've got your mortal problems to deal with, so I'll go to sleep now. Naruto growled in frustration, which quickly vanished once he reached the village entrance. A dozen mist shinobi walked past him, their leader stopping in front of him. Haku, her mask covering her face. "You're awake," she whispered. Naruto could only nod, words caught in his throat. Haku stared at him, slowly removing her mask. Naruto tensed as he saw the tears forming. Before he could do anything else, Haku was pressed against him, arms tightening around him in a hug. "I thought I lost you," Haku said hoarsely. Naruto didn't respond, wrapping his arms around Haku. He buried his face into her shoulder. They stood there for several minutes, simply enjoying each other's presence. Naruto was the first to pull away, staring into Haku's eyes. Her cheeks were red from the tears. I love you," Haku declared. Naruto took in a sharp breath. "I know, but I don't know if I feel the same. I think I do. Still, I don't know if I'm capable of loving you. Because of the Nine Tails?" Naruto nodded. "Among other things. If possible, I want you to stay with me. But I don't think I can give you what you deserve. So, maybe it would be best that you stay with Zabuza." Naruto hated every second of it. Haku could feel it in his eyes. She raised her hands, caressing Naruto's face. "I thought you would say that. So I'll wait for you. The Mist and Leaf will be allies, so we'll be able to see each other again. This village needs everything they can get, but I won't ever forget you." Naruto bit back tears. Maybe someday." Haku smiled as he trailed off. "I will be waiting. As long as you need, I will wait." Haku stepped back, untying her hidden leaf headband. She folded it perfectly, handing it to Naruto. "Keep it," she insisted. Naruto took the blue headband, staring at his skewed reflection on the metal. He looked back to Haku, a thin smile on her face. He smiled back. "I won't forget you. Ever," he declared. Hidden Mist East Entrance, 2 days later. Mei and Tsunade shook hands, the Leaf Shinobi behind them. Zabuza stood with them as well, smirking behind his bandages. "We'll send our first envoy in a few weeks. Don't be afraid to ask for anything," Tsunade stated. Mei chuckled. "Don't think we're that weak, Lady Hokage." "Of course not, Lady Mizukage." The Kage stepped away, Zabuza turning to the silent Naruto. Haku stood close to him, also quiet. "Hate to see you go, kid. Perhaps in the future the two of us can spar," the former rogue said. Naruto gave a smile. "I'd like that. Another chance to beat you." "That was one time, and you had that Uchiha kid to help you," Zabuza retorted. Naruto chuckled, turning back to Haku as Zabuza and Mei turned to leave. He looked down to see their hands clasped together. She didn't want to let go. "I'll write letters," Naruto suggested in a whisper. "I can send them with my toad summons. I'm sure Jiraiya won't mind." Haku's face turned red. "I like that." Naruto smiled, pulling Haku in for one last hug. She froze for a moment. She glanced at the group of Leaf Shinobi, embarrassment appearing in her expression for the first time, but she didn't care, returning the embrace. The two finally stepped away, Naruto hiding his pain with a smile. Haku knew he was faking, but didn't push the issue. She returned the grin, slowly walking backwards into the Mist Village. A pair of ninja appeared on either side of the gate, weaving hand signs. Once complete, a wave of thick mist appeared to surround the short walls. Naruto and the others stepped back as the mist engulfed the village. The last thing he saw were Haku's eyes, shining like pure ice. Naruto stood in front of the mist for a few moments, before turning to catch up with Tsunade and the others. "She'll be alright," Sakura assured the blonde. "And it's not like you'll never see each other again." Naruto smiled back. "Don't worry, I know that." Sakura frowned. She could tell Naruto was hiding again. Kiba sneered behind them. "The fox finally lost his girlfriend. Serves him right." Sakura stared at the Inuzuka with rage. It took all her willpower not to punch him. She could see that Hinata was holding back the same reaction. Shino's hands creating fists. Tsunade shook her head at Sakura, the genin turning away. The Hokage looked to Kurenai, who had a slight smirk on her face. It vanished once she caught her eyes. Tsunade then turned to Naruto, his smile never wavering. The blonde stopped walking when Tsunade placed a hand on his shoulder. The Hokage sighed. "For once in your life, boy, allow yourself to show weakness." Naruto looked up at Tsunade, silent. His lips straightened, the shine in his eyes fading. His lips then turned into a frown. After a moment, Tsunade saw the tears. Even Kurenai and Kiba watched in shock, as a cascade of tears formed in Naruto's eyes. If you like what you just heard, consider hitting the subscribe button and bell icon to get notified about new videos. If there's a part you've missed, then check out the entire playlist on screen. If you like this story, please share it with your fellow anime lovers. Any support helps a lot. That's all for now. This is Ninja Kai, disappearing in a golden flash.